want to say. So today's going to be a great group. I'm so happy that everybody showed up because today we're actually going to go through the first few chapters of Think and Grow Rich and do the assignment. And that's actually, it's ironic, the term that's perfect for right now, because I think that term actually originated from Think and Grow Rich, which of course, like we said, we're doing the book study for that in the first three chapters and gonna um, actually create our framework for that you'll see in a minute. One of my gurus says this. His name is Sri Sri Ravi Shankarji, and he always says that if you could go around and get all the happy people to have as much initiative to bring shit together like the sad or angry people, this world would be a really good place. Everyone's going around but with like only getting really loud about like negative. Of course, if it's good to stand up against shit like, bro, free Palestine all the way, all that. But like, why can't we also get together about some positive shit on that same kind of energy? So that's what I feel like we're here doing today is getting up on that positive shit, on that real intense, like we are here, we're not going nowhere, we're gonna keep showing up, even if it doesn't work the way that we imagined immediately. We're going to keep going until we get what we're wanting. And what we're wanting is just to have a fun, fulfilling life and sharing our voice and our message with the world and living abundantly from doing so. So, congratulations, everyone, for being here. This first of a series that we're doing. And I'm gonna just real quick because this is gonna all be recorded as you guys know, and little by little my video editor's putting it into the course portal. So I wanted to just for anyone who's watching this later, since I'm going to play for anyone who's watching this later, when you keep hearing us talking about, oh, Deanna's 10K win. Deanna, I want you just to see the joy in her face and just know that this is something that I felt just like she did. She's like, ah. The first time I ever closed a 10K package, I almost peed my pants. So, like, the feeling that you get in, like, when we were on the phone, she's just ranting about, like, oh my God, he's actually, like, seems like such a great person who I would like to spend time with anyways. It's, like, not even going to be work. I can't wait to, like, help him sharpen his sword and get to the place where he wants to go. And it's like, I'm so glad. Like, she was just, like, on one, just, like, so fucking happy that like this person she's going to enjoy her hours a week with. It's going to be enlivening him, it's going to be enlivening her, it's financially helping her, and it's emotionally, and he's like investing in his transformation, his evolution. So it's like a win 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 win. So I just want you to all see Deanna's face today, who closed her first $10,000 deal.
Thank you so much, guys. I am so excited. It was just so easy, and obviously Kashi prepared me for it. We got to do a little meditation breath work before, and wow, 10K.
Yeah. You know, like she literally got on a phone call right before we're on the phone.
Wow.
I'm like coaching her through the thing, like, yo, the first package is going to be 50K for 6 months, for 3 times a week, 3 hours a day for 6 months, plus um, a 3 day like one-on-one intensive retreat. He'll fly into you or whatever, wherever he's at, flying together, do an intensive 4 hour a day workshops for 3 days. And then she has all these pre-recorded videos, meditations, training portal, all the stuff she made. So I'm like, all right, so for 6 months, 3 times a week, 3 hours a day, it's like a really an intensive one-on-one journey. You'll say this is for your like executive and higher class kind of high profile people, and be 50 grand. So he ended up biting on the middle package, which was the 10K, which is 1 hour a week for 6 months. So that's 1 hour a week, guys. Think about that. 1 hour a week for 6 months. So that's 4 times 6 is 24. So that's basically 500 a session, I think. And the reason why this happened for her, and the reason why this is going to continue to begin happening more for all of you guys, is it's from this book. It is this absurd, honestly, like other people might look at it like it's atrocious. Like, how dare you have so much blind faith and trusting the universe? How dare you like actually dream and think and grow rich? Stupid. Until you close like a deal. Or for me, like, bro, for the journey that somehow I ended up closing all over this last 2.5 years, about $250,000. Just him alone, just him. So it only takes one client, guys, and then if it takes more than one, that's okay because the more the merrier. How many people do we have here? We got a lot of like good people all in one place. So, but your life can change very quickly when you just think and grow rich. It's as simple as that. So today, what we're going to do is we're going to. How many of you have read this book already? Everyone is like either like dabbled with it or maybe read it. So now you're gonna have fresh ears. Trio. So what I'll do first is I'm gonna read out my letter. I'm trying to think. No, yeah. So basically, we can finish this whole thing and create. Yeah, that's easy. The chapters that are essential for us to listen to together right now before the exercise is just about 25 minutes worth of listening, and then the exercise comes in about 25 minutes, and then I'll kind of like share with you guys the my version of the exercise, answer any questions, and then I'll tell a little story about how literally every single thing on my list from 5 years ago that we're about to create our list today, every single thing on my list to a T came absolutely 100% true. And that's why you might as well dream way bigger than I was dreaming because I dreamed what I thought was big back then. But now looking back, it was just like probably not as big as I could have dreamed. So, all right, let's do it. The man who thought his way into partnership with Thomas A. Edison. Truly, thoughts are things, and powerful things at that, when they are mixed with definiteness of purpose, persistence, and a burning desire. You can hear that clear as day, and it's all good? For their translation into riches or other material objects. A little more than 30 years ago, Edwin C. Barnes discovered how true it is that men really do think and grow rich. His discovery did not come about at one sitting. It came little by little, beginning with a burning desire to become a business. Excuse me. Something's telling me to do this before we get started. So we're just gonna together come into a seated posture, just sitting upright. We're gonna place our phone down or have it somewhere nearby us and closing the eyes just for a minute. Going to take a nice double inhale through the nose. Hold at the top, and then you can squeeze your fists and squeeze your core and squeeze your abdomen and squeeze your glutes and squeeze every muscle in your body, and then relax every muscle in your body. Double exhale through the mouth. Relax. Nice full double in breath and squeeze. Hold the breath and squeeze as tightly as you can. Every muscle in your body vibrate with medium energy, high energy, and then relax the muscles and double exhale. And one more round to remove any other stagnation in the body, any other tightness in the body. Double in breath in. Hold the breath and squeeze the body, squeezing as tight as you can for 3, 2, 1, and double exhale. And then together, affirming inwardly that my mind is open to receive this information. My heart is able to digest and apply what I learn from this information. I am completely capable of tuning into every single word and everything that is meant for me. I am going to perfectly be able to integrate into my mind, memory, body, and heart and begin to apply it accordingly. Right now, I am sharp. Right now, I am very receptive to fully and deeply understand this. And right now, I'm calling upon my inner guru, my inner teacher, my inner guide, source, however you want to refer to your connection with God, to right now discipline my mind with concentration for a greater result. Discipline my mind with concentration so that I may fully get the most out of this right now. And one more time to the inner guru with massive concentration to your inner heart, your inner self, to the inner and the bigger self. Please now, disciplining and guiding, holding my hand through this process so that my concentration may be sharp and so that I may get the absolute most out of what we're about to do here right now. Very good. And commanding that and making that your truth, that your inner guru is holding your hand to help you concentrate as much as possible to get the most out of this as possible.
As associate of the great Edison, things, and power their beginning in an idea. If you are ready for the secret, you already possess one half of it. Therefore, Chapter 1. Introduction. The man who thought his way into partnership with Thomas A. Edison. Truly, thoughts are things, and powerful things at that, when they are mixed with definiteness of purpose, persistence, and a burning desire for their translation into riches or other material objects. A little more than 30 years ago, Edwin C. Barnes discovered how true it is that men really do think and grow rich. His discovery did not come about at one sitting. It came little by little, beginning with a burning desire to become a business associate of the great Edison. One of the chief characteristics of Barnes's desire was that it was definite. He wanted to work with Edison, not for him. Observe carefully the description of how he went about translating his desire into reality, and you will have a better understanding of the 13 principles which lead to riches. When this desire or impulse of thought first flashed into his mind, he was in no position to act upon it. Two difficulties stood in his way. He did not know Mr. Edison, and he did not have enough money to pay his railroad fare to Orange, New Jersey. These difficulties were sufficient to have discouraged the majority of men from making any attempt to carry out the desire. But his was no ordinary desire. He was so determined to find a way to carry out his desire that he finally decided to travel by blind baggage rather than be defeated. To the uninitiated, this means that he went to East Orange on a freight train. He presented himself at Mr. Edison's laboratory and announced he had come to go into business with the inventor. In speaking of the first meeting between Barnes and Edison years later, Mr. Edison said, "He stood there before me, looking like an ordinary tramp, but there was something in the expression of his face which conveyed the impression that he was determined to get what he had come after." I had learned from years of experience with men that when a man really desires a thing so deeply that he is willing to stake his entire future on a single turn of the wheel in order to get it, he is sure to win. I gave him the
Heard
opportunity
that,
he asked
Jordan?
for because I saw he had made up his mind to stand by until he succeeded. Subsequent events proved that no mistake was made. Just what young Barnes said to Mr. Edison on that occasion was far less important than that which he thought. Edison himself said so. It could not have been the young man's appearance which got him his start in the Edison office, for that was definitely against him. It was what he thought that counted. If the significance of this statement could be conveyed to every person who hears it, there would be no need for the remainder of this book. Barnes did not get his partnership with Edison on his first interview. He did get a chance to work in the Edison offices at a very nominal wage, doing work that was unimportant to Edison, but most important to Barnes, because it gave him an opportunity to display his merchandise where his intended partner could see it. Months went by. Apparently nothing happened to bring the coveted goal which Barnes had set up in his mind as his definite major purpose. But something important was happening in Barnes's mind. He was constantly intensifying his desire to become the business associate of Edison. Psychologists have correctly said,
We're just intensifying our desire more and more internally. Like, I will be a profitable coach who is sharing with the world and enjoying. I will be the owner of the nonprofit where I help thousands of veterans and traumatized drug addicts, people of all sorts of walks of life, jumping out of airplanes. No matter what, there is no other option. I am going to be somebody who has the clarity of mind and the clarity of heart and the clarity of purpose to take my own intellect, my own thoughts, words, and actions and idea and be able to translate that into exchanging my services of transformation to people into dollars shame and guilt free. Like that's like the essence of everything we've just heard, is to, like a lunatic internally, like nothing else is real. That little other voice, or the dual, the double, the devil, dual, double, devil, the diabolic little other negative voice in our head. You can't do that. That's not possible. No, you, that now people would think you're bad for that. You're going to get judged. People are going to deny you. You're not good enough. No one will take you serious. You're not an authority. You don't know what you're talking about. That, we're in the duel with the duel. We're in a duel with the duel, with that little second stupid voice that's chirping in our brain. And like the idea of everything we just heard is to like take our sword to that voice and only really allow the opposite of that, which is truth, and using our purity of our imagination. I just want to like give those little 2 cents in there for a sec.
Said that when one is truly ready for a thing, it puts in its appearance. Barnes was ready for a business association with Edison. Moreover, he was determined to remain ready until he got that which he was seeking. He did not say to himself, "Ah, well, what's the use? I guess I'll change my mind and try for a salesman's job." But he did say, "I came here to go into business with Edison, and I'll accomplish this end if it takes the remainder of my life." He meant it. What a different story men would have to tell if only they would adopt a definite purpose and stand by that purpose until it had time to become an all-consuming obsession. Maybe young Barnes did not know it at the time, but his bulldog determination, his persistence in standing back of a single desire, was destined to mow down all opposition and bring him the opportunity he was seeking. When the opportunity came, it appeared in a different form and from a different direction than Barnes had expected. That is one of the tricks of opportunity. It has a sly habit of slipping in by the back door, and often it comes disguised in the form of misfortune or temporary defeat. Perhaps this is why so many fail to recognize opportunity. Mr. Edison had just perfected a new office device, known at the time as the Edison dictating machine, now the Ediphone. His salesmen were not enthusiastic over the machine. They did not believe it could be sold without great effort. Barnes saw his opportunity. It had crawled in quietly, hidden in a queer-looking machine which interested no one but Barnes and the inventor. Barnes knew he could sell the Edison dictating machine. He suggested this to Edison and promptly got his chance. He did sell the machine. In fact, he sold it so successfully that Edison gave him a contract to distribute and market it all over the nation. Out of that business association grew the slogan, "Made by Edison and installed by Barnes." The business alliance has been in operation for more than 30 years. Out of it, Barnes has made himself rich in money, but he has done something infinitely greater. He has proved that one really may think and grow rich. How much actual cash that original desire of Barnes's has been worth to him, I have no way of knowing. Perhaps it has brought him $2 or $3 million. But the amount, whatever it is, becomes insignificant when compared with the greater asset he acquired in the form of definite knowledge that an intangible impulse of thought can be transmuted into its physical counterpart by the application of known principles. Barnes literally thought himself into a partnership with the great Edison. He thought himself into a fortune. He had nothing to start with, except the capacity to know what he wanted and the determination to stand by that desire until he realized it. He had no money to begin with. He had but little education. He had no influence. But he did have initiative, faith, and the will to win. With these intangible forces, he made himself #1 man with the greatest inventor who ever lived.
Dude, literally, homie was like, I'm going to be business partners with Thomas Edison, and like, I won't do anything except that. Nothing will stop me. And by, the whim of that obsession, ended up, because this book was written in like, I think the 20s. So this is like an old ass book, but it's like the Bible of this thought. So the next two parts are really, really cool. But you know what? We're actually just gonna listen. do 3 feet from gold, and then we're gonna get right into the process because I feel like you all should go back in and like listen to this on your own again. But I think for like time and convenience sake, we're gonna listen to this one teeny other chapter, and then we're gonna listen to the instructions, and then we'll go through it together and have the all of us by the end of us getting off this call have our really clearly written declaration in the format that is prescribed here. So
3 feet from goal.
4 minutes on this one, and then
The most common causes of failure is the habit of quitting when one is overtaken by temporary defeat. Every person is guilty of this mistake at one time or another. An uncle of R.U. Darby was caught by the gold fever in the gold rush days and went west to dig and grow rich. He had never heard that more gold has been mined from the brains of men than has ever been taken from the earth. He staked a claim and went to work with pick and shovel. The going was hard, but his lust for gold was definite. After weeks of labor, he was rewarded by the discovery of the shining ore. He needed machinery to bring the ore to the surface. Quietly, he covered up the mine, retraced his footsteps to his home in Williamsburg, Maryland, told his relatives and a few neighbors of the strike. They got together money for the needed machinery, had it shipped. The uncle and Darby went back to work the mine. The first car of ore was mined and shipped to a smelter. The returns proved they had one of the richest mines in Colorado. A few more cars of that ore would clear the debts. Then would come the big killing and profits. Down went the drills. Up went the hopes of Darby and Uncle. Then something happened. The vein of gold ore disappeared. They had come to the end of the rainbow, and the pot of gold was no longer there. They drilled on, desperately trying to pick up the vein again, all to no avail. Finally, they decided to quit. They sold the machinery to a junk man for a few $100s and took the train back home. Some junk men are dumb, but not this one. He called in a mining engineer to look at the mine and do a little calculating. The engineer advised that the project had failed because the owners were not familiar with fault lines. His calculations showed that the vein would be found just 3 feet from where the Darbys had stopped drilling. That is exactly where it was found. The junk man took millions of dollars in ore from the mine because he knew enough to seek expert counsel before giving up. Most of the money which went into the machinery was procured through the efforts of R.U. Darby, who was then a very young man. The money came from his relatives and neighbors because of their faith in him. He paid back every dollar of it, although he was years in doing so. Long afterward, Mr. Darby recouped his loss many times over when he made the discovery that desire can be transmuted into gold. The discovery came after he went into the business of selling life insurance. Remembering that he lost a huge fortune because he stopped 3 feet from gold, Darby profited by the experience in his chosen work by the simple method of saying to himself, I stopped 3 feet from gold, but I will never stop because men say no when I ask them to buy insurance. Darby is one of a small group of fewer than 50 men who sell more than $1 million in life insurance annually. He owes his stickability to the lesson he learned from his quitability in the gold mining business. Before success comes in any man's life, he is sure to meet with much temporary defeat, and perhaps some failure. When defeat overtakes a man, the easiest and most logical thing to do is to quit. That is exactly what the majority of men do. More than 500 of the most successful men this country has ever known told the author their greatest success came just one step beyond the point at which defeat had overtaken them. Failure is a trickster with a keen sense of irony and cunning. It takes great delight in tripping one when success is almost within reach.
all right. So um, I'll paraphrase the next chapter, but that is so freaking true. The You'll be so in the midst of thinking that you're cooked, that there's no like your all your efforts been a waste. Why am I still putting all this tender energy, love, and care and devotion and time and effort into this thing why am I still doing this? Because I'm not reaping any benefits from it. But it's typically after you finally will get to that point, and then the person comes in and they show you the right way to do something, or the right comes and it lines up perfectly, or the right opportunity, the something right will end up happening if you have a definite purpose of like, I am going to create this school that's going to help people with XYZ thing. And you go and you try and you try and try. Sometimes right at the point, I remember the time that this happened the most for me, when I was like looking at my expenses for this retreat, when I barely even knew how I was going to pay. I didn't know how I was going to pay rent that month. This is right when I moved to Miami about 3.5 probably years ago. And I moved to Miami, and all of that shit from me moving, all this like too much. It's in my book. If y'all want to read it, I could send it to you in detail. But to try to like cut this to be really quick, I didn't know how I was going to pay my rent. I had all these facilitators that were going to be coming, and I promised them that I was going to pay them to help me at the retreat. And I just trusted. I was like, it's gonna work. And that blind trust, I shit you not, all the way up until the point of the retreat, I'm kind of there. I was thinking, well, oh, I'm fucked. Like I just overpromised way more than actually I think that I'll be able to do. And I'm like, no. I was like, I'm going to just give this my 100%. Boom! A good idea came into my mind. I'm like crying tears of joy because I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna make this work. It's gonna be good. Um, like I'm so glad that I get to show up for these people. I'm so glad that I get to host this retreat. I'm so glad that I have people who believe in me. I'm so glad that I'm like, just like staying in that positive wavelength. And then boom, I get this idea to call this guy. So maybe some my biggest client. But I thought the whole time of the retreat, up until when Kahil, I called him at 3:33 spontaneously because the universe told me to, and he referred me that client that I told you, who's given me hundreds of thousands of dollars at this point, that day. So right when I thought everything was screwed, I'm like, I just promised $1,000 or $2,000 to people that I don't know how I'm going to even pay them. And I don't know what I'm doing right now, but I'm just going to go and have faith that happened. The idea presented itself. So that's that. The reason why I end up sharing that is because some of you guys may already be in that place where you're like, dude, I've been trying, I want this. So, but like, don't stop, because you literally could be 3 feet from gold, and just like continue putting your love and care into this, and it is going to pan out. So the next chapter that I'll just summarize for you, it's this chapter of this little girl, and need to dream bigger. Don't we all, baby? Keep dreaming bigger. Yes, sir. Yeah, and all the shit that came from my last list was true. So yes, do dream bigger. Because if I would, my primary dream was to make music with Illuminati Congo and to be his friend, and to make 6 figures a year from waking up and doing my morning meditation without having to do anything else. So that was like my vision and my dream, and it ended up, in that spontaneous moment, 3 feet from gold, almost gave up. Like it ended up all that shit happening. So um, that is a really, really profound thing that y'all should really, really just. Third chapter, it's basically this little girl comes up to this guy in the middle of the road, and the girl is like, my mom needs 50 cents. And the guy's like, fuck you, get out of here. Basically, a little kid, like, get out of here. And then the girl's just like staring at him, like with like really serious like presence, just like staring right at him. And the guy is a grown ass man. He's like, yo, what's up? Don't make me like, because this is in the 20s, mind you. He's like, don't make me get my belt. Like, I'm gonna come and whoop your ass, little girl. And she's like, he comes and he's about to beat her ass. And the girl's like, my mom needs 50 cents. And then the guy just like freezes and ends up going into his wallet and like handing her the 50 cents. And that's because, like, when we have this level of clarity in our purpose, this definiteness, I love how he calls it definiteness of purpose. We have this clear, ridiculous on the outside, but so sensical on the inside. Um, Confidence and knowingness, this assuming, that maybe you've heard of the law of assumption, like assuming no, like the divine is orchestrating things for me through every single person because the divine is within every single heart. So if I'm commanding through my prayer and through having a good heart, an outcome, Mother Nature is gonna wrap around and go all in and fucking make the moving pieces work out for me, like by any means, because we live in a magical universe. Magic is not supposed to be so magic. Miraculous isn't miraculous. That's the nature of this reality that we're in. It's miracles are normal. So like when we get into that wavelength of knowing like miracles are normal, like my will, by God's grace and a lot of love, care, and devotion, and attention and focus, like God lines things up for me. However you look at God, doesn't matter. Whatever religion, none of that doesn't matter. It's the one living God. There's only one God. Clearly, how could there be more than one? There's one trees, right? Well, someone made the trees. So whoever made the trees, like that's the creator. So like that force is always wanting to work with us. And like the one thing that God doesn't have is our love and our attention because we've came here with free will and we've been cut off from the one thing that the creator doesn't have is our attention towards the creator. So when we give the creator the one thing that he, she, they, whatever doesn't already have, like that in turn creates this chord of vibration of reciprocity that is just it supercharges your surroundings. And then that's why that little girl is like, no, my mom needs 50 cents. And the guy's like, oh, and just the laws of the universe basically like made that dude just freeze, reach in his pocket and hand it over. So that's kind of what happened with Deanna, is like she had this unwavering knowing that like she's posting 5 times a day. She's on her story. She's going live. She's calling her friends and telling about the offer. She's hosting women's circles. She's just doing all the things. And by the way, many of you guys are like doing your damn thing. So like, no, bro, like you all already know. You guys are doing your thing. But Deanna's been doing her damn thing. And that was like commanding the universe to like line some shit up right at the perfect time when it was the most needed. And
Mhm.
it's that specific uh, small subtle principle of a deep knowing that like I am a child who is like knocking at heaven's door, like this is mine and I'm gonna come and take it. There's nothing that can stop me. I know that I'm a child of God, so God's going to give me this thing because I'm gonna keep on knocking. Knock, 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 knock.
Mhm.
Yo, what's up? I know it's coming. Where's it at? I know it's on the way. Who do I gotta talk to? I know it's here. I'm gonna post this. Yo, I'm posting. You see me? Yo, and then boom. Next thing you know, all that hard work and effort and digging and shaking and moving and doing shit.
So
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah.
So that is the kind of constant communication. I know you've come here to like learn business strategy and stuff. And as all of you know who've been here a lot, we do a lot of that too. So Saline, I know like you're coming in on some kind of like more metaphysical vibes, but we have a lot of practical stuff that we'll also walk you through. I have documents that you'll be able to go through and get really clear frameworks of how to, structure offers on your social media and so on. So I know you're stepping on more of like a metaphysical wave, but that's what where the group's at right now. I feel like is like we gotta eliminate anything except the belief that like I'm communicating with God all the time and I am asking. Maybe you've read the book. It's in our book reading list. Asking it is given, from Abraham Hicks. Amazing book. We're right now thinking and growing rich and asking it is giving. We gotta
Mhm.
not have any shame and guilt around charging lots of money for sharing goodness to the world, because if psychiatrists are doing it and they're giving people drugs and it's probably 99% of the time not good. Other different, sometimes therapists are good but probably not as good as the products that we're sharing with people. Probably maybe therapy can be effective but probably not anywhere near as effective as what we're sharing with people. At least that's been my experience. I went to
Same.
therapy stuff, and that never worked as good for me as just doing the work and the breath work and the crying it out, the feeling it, the release and the letting it go. So what we're doing here is so freaking powerful that we're changing people's lives from the inside out and inspiring them to go and change their other people's lives. And it's just this beautiful cycle. So really right now, our main priority as a collective right now is removing all guilt and shame around receiving money from sharing transformations, removing all doubt and fear about, being an authority. You guys, each one of you have taken so much time on your spiritual journey. Saley, and I know I mean, he's a freaking Olympian, guys, mind you. He's a freaking
Wow.
Olympian. You should see his freaking acro swag is. I mean, Julie already knew him as the acro man. Like when I thought of him, I was like, that's the acro man. So like he, everywhere you go, he's making some beautiful girl fly. Like, dude, it's crazy. So he's always, and like that's the kind of thing that we got to really really like normalize, is recognizing it's normal to you. It's not normal to other people. This is your gift. This is your magic sauce, and you have cultivated that level of involvement in it, and that's why that it's normal to you. But that's why other people pay thousands of dollars for it, because it's not normal to them, and they're amazed by what you're offering. So that's why we encourage you guys to do your own special thing. And then if you want to incorporate the breath work as like an extra thing on top, wonderful. That's a thing that for me the longest. Sometimes I forget because it's normal to me. I healed my ADHD, PTSD, depression, anxiety, all these things. I was really fucked up, as you guys know before. And I just like don't really remember all the time how I used to be like a bundle of addiction and depression and self hatred, and like I'd be forgetting that, like, holy shit, I completely changed my life with this breath work. So I gotta like swallow the pill again and remember, like, bro, like, no, you're used to this shit, but like this is some powerful shit. So don't ever like dampen the magic behind it, and just share that shit with all your heart. So you guys get what I'm saying. We're gonna get right into the process that we're all going to create this definiteness of purpose, the amount of money, the way in which we're going to get the money. And this is going to be like our best friend. We're similar how Deanna today was like screaming to the universe, like, I know it's going to happen because God's got me, and I'm going to have the moving parts are going to come together. And I need, like, we're going to have to be on that. We're creating our own version of that mantra right now. So I recreated mine today. So I'll read you my new one. Um, and this actually came from last night. I actually went to bed, believe it or not, guys. I went to bed and I was like, dude, I'm moving all the way across the world. I mean, yeah, technically I have money. I'm straight. I'm straight. But the mind, even though you still got racks, and you like still get to questioning yourself, you're like, oh, but maybe what if something bad happened? What if I, what if this happened? What if? And I was like, no, no. I laid down in Shavasana. I took some deep breaths, and I was like, God, show me what I'm supposed to do right now to remove this poison. I know this is just the lies from the other voice. What do I must do to I remove this right now? And something was like, Think and Grow Rich. And I was like, all right, baby. So I went back into that book, started rereading it. Tears of joy, angel bumps, all that. And then this morning woke up, repeated. So then that's why we're here right now. This is my definition of purpose. It's going to be um, it says first is decide an exact amount of money that you will make. So you guys can write this down if you'd like. Decide an exact definite amount of money that I will make. For me, I wrote $33,333 every single day, and that'll all be hands off in 12 months from now, as in I won't even really need to be involved in the tech side and all the other shit. um, I love that, Charlotte. I feel like that as well. So 33K a day. Hey, Christina. So $33,333 a day, every day, and hands off in 12 months. So the second thing is, what up, Christina? We're going through this thing. So happy to have you with us here, love. So then the second is determine exactly what I will give in return for the money that I desire. So for me, I wrote, and I'll read that again for you so you could write it. I will give pre-made video series giving people major emotional, mental, and spiritual transformations. I will hop on group calls and answer people's questions and hear them be grateful and glad that they began working to change their entire life. I will give people hope, excitement, confidence, faith, joy, childlike essence, self-love, the ability to trust themselves, spiritual evolution, emotional evolution, financial evolution, give people good ideas and the joy and the excitement and the momentum to be able to follow these dreams through. So that's step 2, which we're all about to make our own version of that, which is determine exactly what I will give in return for the money that I desire. Determine exactly what I will give in return for the money that I desire. And then step 3 is determine a definite date that I'll get that money that I desire. So by May 23, 2025 at 3:33 p.m., I will have officially have made my first $33,333 day, as in one 24-hour period, $33,333. All the prior days becoming will become progressively more and more closer to that number every single day. After May 23, every day from now until forever, we'll have the 33,333,000, not including all of the other investments, properties, assets, companies, and shit that I'm going to transact with. So then that was step 3, which is which by the way, it's about 12 million a year. But when you have 12 million a year and you're pouring it into assets and stuff, and you're making shit move, investing, you got a lot of room to quadruple that shit up real quick. So then that was step 3, which is determine a definite date that I'll get the money that I desire. So then step 4 is create a definite plan for how I'm going to actually achieve what I desire, and begin at once. That's the important part. And then begin at once. So create a definite plan for how I'm going to actually achieve what I desire and begin at once. So for me, I'm just going to share my voice. Some people may feel some type of way about this. It almost felt weird for it coming out of my mouth, but it's just the truth, so I'm just not going to be embarrassed about it. Um, I'm going to Thailand and I'm going to shoot YouTube vlogs, Instagram reels, YouTube instructional videos, guided meditations, and give people lots of transformations using their body, their breath, and their mind. I'm going to sell these products for various increments of dollars. I'm going to have my content go viral as fuck organically and become a worldwide sensation for people in every single country that are wanting to meet me and be able to learn from all of the things that my teachers taught me and learn from all the things that I've learned and be able to enjoy and feel inspired by me, to feel connected to me, to feel close to me, and to find everything that I share with them extremely valuable. I used to have an issue
Amen.
feeling bad about
Oh.
saying that I want to go viral, but I had to go back on that and be like, no, it's not from a bad place. It's not like glory to me. No, glory to God. And I want to be able to make an impact and also shamelessly make a shit ton of money. And I'd rather do that organically than having to pay money for ads. So you gotta just keep it
Mm-hmm.
real,
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that was step 4. That was step 4. So then there's step 5. Thank you for all the love and support, everybody. I see Murat,
Can
I say everybody, thanks for all your guys' love and support on that.
can you go back to the other one again and say it again one more time?
Number 4,
Repeat 4.
yeah. Create a definite plan for how I'm going to actually achieve what I desire and begin at once. And we're still going to listen to this 5-minute talk about this from the guy, but I just thought it'd be good to warm you up to these concepts and stuff like this. And then we're going to go back and listen to that as well. And then after that, it's off to the races. You guys are going to create your own version of this. So then step 5. So if you miss any of these, you'll also hear it all one more time. So write out a clear and concise statement about the money I desire. Name the time limit for acquisition. State what I intend on giving in return for the money. And describe clearly the plan in which I intend to accumulate it. So then this is, I think, pretty much all of it put into one.
Mm.
And you'll hear all of this again, don't worry. I'm going to make $33,333 a day, every day for the next 2 years until I start selling companies and making multi-billion-dollar deals. The first $33,333 day will happen on May 23rd, 2025, and these days will happen consecutively every day for 2 years before I close my first billion-dollar deal. And in turn, I'm giving people major transformations emotionally, mentally, spiritually, financially, giving them a new chance at life to help them live life to the fullest with joy. giving people hope, joy, excitement, calmness, love, bliss, ecstasy, and absolute complete enthrallment and falling in love with life. I am going to get this by going massively viral with millions of organic followers who purchased my every single product ranging from 100,000 to 50,000 to 25,000 to 10,000 to 3,000 to 1,000 to $300 with the assistance of the world's most honest, badass, excellent team known to man. I'm going to get this from having so many views and watch time on YouTube, among other platforms, people paying me for brand deals, and lastly, by investing in major successful products, companies, brands, coaches, product launches, etc., assets, all hands off because of how much money I have at a certain point. And then the last step is read twice daily, once in the morning and once in the evening. And while you're reading it, imagine like that shit's already done. Like imagine you in that vibration. So then what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go through and we're gonna listen to this. It's like 5-ish minutes, and then Captain Soul because yeah.
You are the master of your fate, the captain of your soul, because when Henley wrote the prophetic lines, I am the master of my fate, I am the captain of my soul, he should have informed us that we are the masters of our fate, the captains of our souls, because we are thoughts which maintain a spirit of open-mindedness and the starting point of all achievement.
Oh, it's actually
The first step toward riches. When Edwin C. Barnes climbed down from the freight train in Orange, New Jersey more than 30 years ago, he made I will do anything Edison tells me to do, but computed into its financial equivalent.
Yeah, so y'all definitely want to go back and read the first few chapters because we skipped through a lot here. Actually, I encourage you guys to do your the medium for okay, yeah. Definitely go back and read this, but I think I found the chapter.
Influencing the subconscious
Here
mind.
it is.
The third step toward riches. Autosuggestion is a term which applies to all suggestions and all self-administered stimuli which reach one's mind through the five senses. Stated in another way, summary of instructions. The fact that you are listening to this audiobook is an indication that you earnestly seek knowledge. It is also an indication that you are a student of this subject. If you are only a student, there is a chance that you may learn much that you did not know, but you will learn only by assuming an attitude of humility. If you choose to follow some of the instructions, but neglect or refuse to follow others, you will fail. To get satisfactory results, you must follow all instructions in a spirit of faith. The instructions given in connection with the 6 steps in the second chapter will now be summarized and blended with the principles covered by this chapter as follows. First, go into some quiet spot, preferably in bed at night, where you will not be disturbed or interrupted. Close your eyes and repeat aloud, so you may hear your own words, the written statement of the amount of money you intend to accumulate, the time limit for its accumulation, and a description of the service or merchandise you intend to give in return for the money. As you carry out these instructions, see yourself already in possession of the money. For example, suppose that you intend to accumulate $50,000 by the 1st of January 5 years hence, that you intend to give personal services in return for the money in the capacity of a salesman. Your written statement of your purpose should be similar to the following. By the first day of January 19 blank, I will have in my possession $50,000, which will come to me in various amounts from time to time during the interim. In return for this money, I will give the most efficient service of which I am capable, rendering the fullest possible quantity and the best possible quality of service in the capacity of salesman of describe the service or merchandise you intend to sell. I believe that I will have this money in my possession. My faith is so strong that I can now see this money before my eyes. I can touch it with my hands. It is now awaiting transfer to me at the time, and in the proportion that I deliver the service I intend to render in return for it. I am awaiting a plan by which to accumulate this money, and I will follow that plan when it is received. Second, repeat this program night and morning until you can see, in your imagination, the money you intend to accumulate. Third, place a written copy of your statement where you can see it night and morning, and read it just before retiring and upon arising until it has been memorized. Remember, as you carry out these instructions, that you are applying the principle of autosuggestion for the purpose of giving orders to your subconscious mind. Remember also that your subconscious...
You know what? I'm gonna actually copy and paste it into the group chat.
Awesome.
Summary I just gave was from chapter 4, autosuggestion. But realistically, if I was you, I would start from realistically like the end of chapter 1, where it's the 50-cent lesson in persistence. You are the master of your own fate. But then chapter 2. So basically, the end of chapter 1 and chapter 2 would be a great place to start because that's where we left off together. And there's a lot of nuggets and all of that as well. So yeah, so that's in there now. So everyone can just go in on their own now and go through and fill those out. And if you need to get more of a reference by chance, I'll post the free audiobook YouTube link as well. I'm gonna set a timer for 20 minutes. I feel like that should give everybody enough time to lock in and focus in on that. And then after that 20 minutes, then we'll do our meditation and stuff. Right. What up, y'all? In about 20 minutes. How's everybody doing? All right. How we looking, everybody? Is everybody still working on their write up? Let's get those cameras on. I want the squad back. There's still 13 of us. So it's all
Still working on it, but it's
okay.
looking good.
Good.
Yeah, I also kind of have it finished, but I wanna go deeper when I have the time and kind of but I have the basis of it and the
Cool.
structure. But
Yeah, so what we'll do is we'll go back later, and that'll be just over the next couple of days. Let's just all commit to ourselves that we're going to listen to the book from start to finish within the next, let's just say 14 days tops.
yes,
For
yes.
sure tops, which would just mean listening for 20 minutes or 30 minutes a day. If you do 30 minutes a day, if I was y'all though, I would just meditate and then know that after you meditate, then you're going to listen to it and then kind of just see if you can get into a deeper flow state with it and really immerse yourself in it and take notes on it, take pauses and literally sit and contemplate
Mm-hmm.
on concepts and stuff like that. So great.
Yes.
Does everybody thumbs up on that? Next 14 days, we can all have that completed and read, and then we're going to start getting in the habit of saying it. Great. Okay, so we're on that journey together then.